Let's talk about Assassin's Creed Mirage. So obviously I think this is a highly just anticipated game overall to see where the future of the franchise is going. And because of that, there's going to be a lot riding on this game for the future of everything to do with Ubisoft and as well Assassin's Creed. After everything that's been going on with Ubisoft lately, obviously with their reports of 200 million, basically going down the drain, them having to cancel a load of projects, they're going to have to go in on the franchises that they know do succeed. What they're going to end up doing, most likely, is giving us Assassin's Creed Mirage, hopefully making it a good game, and then as well as that, actually adding on, the fact that the next load of games are going to be RPG games, and that's all we're basically going to see from Assassin's Creed, most likely here on out, purely based off of sales records and monetary value earned. Now, I really wanted to be hyped for this game, but sadly, I just can't. I can't get myself to be hyped. I am going to be getting it on release, and I'm going to be making plenty of videos about this game. However, I can't get myself to actually be hyped for this game, as the past histories of the way the different games have been dealt with, for example, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is my main issue throughout everything, mismarketed entirely, and then eventually they just lied full on and just said, we'll never have these XP boosters within the game. A month after release and all of the good reviews came out, what did they do? They added XP boosters. But to be honest, where my actual issue with Assassin's Creed Mirage comes into play more than anything is the lack of gameplay. We've had literally nothing. Since the game got announced, we got told from release that we could pre-order this game. That was 4 months ago now. 4 months ago, we were told, you can pre-order a game, but we haven't shown you any gameplay. Which again, people may say, you know what, that's fine, the game's not going to be out for a long time. The game's initial launch was meant to be March. We're currently in January. By the time you see this video, we will be in late January, if not entering February. How have we not got any gameplay at all of this game? Nothing we have been shown so far, including screenshots and art for the game, because we don't even know what it is. We don't even know if the actual art that we've been shown is, drawn art designed by artists for us to see, or if it is in-game footage that has had a screenshot taken. We have zero clue. We've been shown absolutely nothing, and they still want you to put money forward. Now, if you are someone like me who is going to be looking into buying this game, all I would recommend, if you wanted to get a cheaper deal on release, CD Keys has Assassin's Creed Mirage on PC for £30, so that's probably going to be the way that I get the game. Preferably I want to get it on console just because of my recording capabilities. It works better for me to use a console, but if you do want to play the game on release, highly recommend going over to CD Keys over using any other one where you're going to be paying out £50 for a game that we know nothing about, and there is a high possibility that it might just be a flop. So let's discuss some of the things that I want to see within this game, and then also kind of what I'm expecting to see. So the first one is going to be an overall just linear story. That is what I want. Based off of the cinematic trailer and some of the information that we've had come out from this is basically what we'll be getting. We should be getting a linear story that only follows Basim, and that is it. So hopefully we do end up getting that, and I want to go back to this as I personally just prefer having a linear story that you can just go on and follow if you want to, and then if you want to explore the open world, then you can do that as well. Because there is one issue, for example, in a linear story game of Assassin's Creed known as Assassin's Creed Unity, where they fall into this issue, which is the first time I've ever noticed it in the Assassin's Creed franchise, which is they added level scaling within this game. Well, not scaling, just leveling up systems. And what this did was, by the time you hit sequence 9, if all you've been doing is the story, which is what I did for my video because I wanted to get all the footage for it, when you hit sequence 9, the game's difficulty just goes up out of nowhere. It's almost as if they kind of level cap you in a way of basically being like, yeah, now go do things. It's effectively what you have in Odyssey and as well Valhalla if you don't just do every single bit of side content you stumble across. And the issue is with those games is that they have no like push for you to explore, push for you to go do the side content. So even when you are doing them, it's just boring, nonsensical stuff to do. Whereas at least in Unity, for example, they added the detective stuff. It was kind of interesting for the time and that sort of thing. However, again, you have this level issue, and hopefully that isn't in this game. I don't mind them having a system where, you level up Basim and you can unlock all these different abilities. Personally, I'd rather have it where, let's say, within a mission, you're learning how to do double assassinations properly, or you're learning how to do a jump assassination, or you're doing stealth kills, whatever it might be, or a different utility of a weapon, whatever. I'd rather it be learnt within a mission, and then maybe, you can master that skill over time and you can deal more damage or something like that. Like, if they want to add small RPG elements in there, go for it. I don't mind that. The issue with RPG-ness that I think a lot of people don't like about Assassin's Creed now is literally just being able to do whatever and having a skill tree that is effectively nothing. It doesn't exist. There's no point of it existing. So yeah, I do want a linear story overall, and hopefully that is what we're getting. That is what they've said we are getting, so hopefully they fulfill on this promise. Next up is a parkour system that is decent. Now, obviously there has been this conversation that they are making the system as similar to Unity as possible. Please, people, just don't take this as like gospel. The amount of people that I've seen when I've discussed this game in the past tell me, oh, did you see Master Assassin's video talking about the parkour? Or have you seen this video talking about the parkour system being like Unity? Yes, I have. But this is Ubisoft we're talking about. The same company who literally only showed specific gameplay when leading up to Valhalla's launch and only allowed creators to enter into certain gameplay leading up to the launch to make the game look like an Assassin's Creed game. Then it launched and it's just a Viking simulator. This is something that people really need to take with a pinch of salt. Honestly, I don't even care about having exactly Assassin's Creed Unity's parkour. It would be amazing if we did. Just give us something better than what we've had over the last 3 years, where it's been dumbed down to the point where you just hold one button and you're climbing up everything. Give us something a little bit more convoluted. I'd rather have that than, let's say, them trying to go full Unity and making the parkour system nothing like Unity because they've just basically given up on the process. I would rather just have a good parkour system that's decent, does the job, and then they also support the world, they also support the story. Everything like that. If they put all their effort into the parkour, for example, great. I would gladly have a Unity-style parkour system, but do not put all of your money on this happening. And the last thing that I really want to see, as it's the only real pet peeve I've had when it comes to Assassin's Creed lore within the entire franchise since Origins release. And Origins is a game that I've openly defended many times. I'll probably make a video like called In Defense of Assassin's Creed Origins and argue the case, because I've argued with people in the comments, well, not argued, discussed it in the comments with people, which is that Origins is a good game. In my opinion, overall, it is a good Assassin's Creed. Now, a lot of people dislike Origins because it started off this, saga into RPG-ness. However, I would rather have Origins than I would Odyssey or Valhalla by miles. I'd rather have Origins than what we got with, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And honestly, if you compare Assassin's Creed 3, because this is something that I know will upset some people, but Assassin's Creed 3 on launch and almost the entire time that it was released was looked at as a complete failure of a game. It was awful. People did not like it. They did not like Connor. They did not like any of it outside of Haytham. Haytham was the only redeeming factor of this game. We look back on it now and love the game. But simply put, the game was not good on release, and really, if you look at it overall as a game, it's okay. It's really not as great as people like to make it out to be. But when you consider that Origins, overall, they took a risk. Yes, you can argue that they didn't take a risk. They just went into the RPG genre of open world games. However, it was different, the formula that they've already been doing with Assassin's Creed from beforehand, but also everyone around that time period of Origins coming out was completely hating on the way Assassin's Creed was at the time. And they then went for Origins where people loved the game because it was a different taste to the Assassin's Creed formula. Overall, I think Origins is a good game. I know that was a very weird side tangent to go on, but it makes sense when I'm talking about this next bit, which is I want an Assassin versus Templar conflict. Origins started this trend of getting rid of Templars as like the actual name of them and the overall like consensus of their ideology, which was fine at the time. It kind of made sense, they called the Assassins the Hidden Ones, and then they called the Templars Order of something. It was either Order of the Ancients, I believe, in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and then I've forgotten what the other two were within Valhalla and Origins, but I would rather have that game have, whatever they want to call the early onset Templars and whatever they want to call the early onset Assassins. But when you have a game like Valhalla that is so close to the time of Assassin's Creed 1, basically saying, hey, we're still not going to name them Assassins, or the Assassin's Creed, we're still not doing that, we're still calling them the Hidden Ones, and also we're not calling the Templars yet, which makes no sense. Sure, they can argue the factor of, well, the Templar Order wasn't founded until here, and the Assassin's Creed wasn't made until this time period. Cool, but if they do not do it in this game, they are simply just questioning everything. As I believe they have said in the past that, the whole point of this is that they're basically meant to be talking about how the Assassins and Templars actually get founded as them being those names. So hopefully we get that. And I just want an Assassins-Templar conflict that is actually an Assassins-Templar conflict. In the past, of the last 2 games, What have we got? We've had an Assassin's Templar conflict to a degree. Valhalla, not really. The main villain wasn't even really a villain. Odyssey, again, same issue. And then with Origins, honestly, I like the factor that Julius Caesar was like the main antagonist by the end of it. I was perfectly fine with all of that. I think Origins was an all-round good way of doing it if they were going to change the formula in any way. It does drag away from the core idea of what Assassin's Creed was as a story, which was this idea of these effectively Illuminati groups fighting one another in the shadows, and that is what Assassin's Creed is. I want to see this more. I want to see more Assassins versus Templar conflicts going on for who is going to be leading forth that time period in history. Give us more of that, and I'll be happy. Which again, it's so that sounds really far-fetched to say nowadays, but back in the day, you would be perfectly able to say, give us Assassin's Creed versus Templar game, and you would have just been given it. No questions asked. Now, all in all, I do think that there is some questionable antics just because of the lack of gameplay. However, what I will give them as the redeeming factor of Assassin's Creed's future is that they're at least being somewhat honest with us. For the first time, they decided to actually outline the future of Assassin's Creed by telling us this game will not be an RPG game, it will be an open-world linear story game. That is fine. Then they said that the next 2 games will be open world RPG games. Again, that is fine. As long as they basically tell us that it will not be an Assassin's Creed main focused game. For example, we should be getting one, I believe it's going to be set in Japan. I think they said it's either that or it's a mobile game. Honestly, there was so much announced at that point in time, and there's a lot of stuff, but I might make another video at some point in the future about it. But all in all, as I see it right now, they seem to at least be somewhat open and honest about where the future of this franchise is going, so I will give them credits in that regard. This idea of this video of let's talk about Assassin's Creed Mirage is simply more of a skeptical reality check, in my opinion, for a lot of fans out there, as I want this game to be good, and I really do. I really hope it's something that actually brings the old fans back into the game and keeps new fans engaged. Ubisoft have let us down time and time again, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we get something similar again. With that all being said though, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, do subscribe for more content going forward. Going to be plenty of Assassin's Creed content once Mirage comes out. There's a few video essays planned this year about Assassin's Creed games, so if you're interested in that sort of style of video, make sure to check those out, and I've got plenty of other content about Assassin's Creed on the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.